Everybody, I'm Ross Treelevin, and this is another Sprague Spotlight interview. Today I'm joined by,
Jared Wallace.
and Jared, what do you do at Sprague?
I am a regional manager for the Inland Empire, which covers our Pasco, Spokane, Boise, and Denver office.
Okay. All right. And now you came to Sprague when?
2002, May 30th, 2002.
May 30th, 2002. So what was your journey like then? You've had more than one, you didn't come as a regional manager then?
No, I came in as a technician, and it was a Kennewick office at the time. Came from, I had been at two previous pest control companies before joining Sprague. I was actually recruited by an employee who I actually replaced him at my job before. He was a technician there, was moving to Sprague. He trained me for one day, and then 2 years later calls me up out of the blue and says, "Hey, you want to come to Sprague?" And that was Dan Neeson. And that led me to interview with Jim Lovelace and move to the Sprague team.
So wait, so Jim Lovelace hired you?
Yep, Jim Lovelace hired me.
And now Jim is back, and he works at least with you, if not for you, at this point.
Yeah, it was kind of a unique turn of events. Jim hired me, and then in 2002, then in 2005, Jim left, started his own company. We maintained a relationship and a friendship over those years, and for about almost 15 years, Jim had his own business and then decided to sell it to us and come back to work for us. And so when he came back to work for us, he reported directly to me. So that was probably more fun for me than it was for him.
Wow. So in 2005, who replaced Jim Lovelace then?
That would be me. I got the privilege. I think it was a privilege of becoming the manager of the Kennewick office at the time.
So I remember I threw my name in the hat to potentially move to Kennewick. Yeah, I know it's as funny to you as everybody who's maybe in Kennewick or in Pasco now going to see this. And I still remember sitting down with Alfie and him saying, "So are you going to move to the Tri-Cities?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd have to." Anyway, they hired the right guy. I'm glad you got that job. So that was my first time maybe applying for something bigger at Sprague. So what's next in your career journey, your career map then? So you went, you became the branch manager of the Kennewick office 2005. And how big was Kennewick in 2005?
Memory serves me correctly, we were about $1.4 million annual revenue at the time, and had 7 technicians. And then I took over in 2005.
Little bigger these days.
A little bigger. So that office today is 19 technicians and a specialist and 2 operations managers, a total of 25 people in that office. So it is in 15 years to see the growth that office has had is remarkable.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And then what was, so after the branch manager, I know there's at least one more stop in here between now and regional manager.
So in 2013, I got a call from our boss, Jeff Miller, asking me if I would like to be a district manager. And that would still maintaining the branch manager responsibilities for the Kennewick office and also district manager responsibilities over our Spokane office. So that was I think a 2-year journey, 2 to 2.5, somewhere in that range. And then you were right there with me, and we were both at that time became district managers, and I think pretty close the same time frame became regional managers.
Mm-hmm.
Able to finally fire ourselves as branch managers, hire the right people for the job, and focus on more responsibility for the company.
So what was your development journey like at Sprague then? So you probably were in some of 1 or 2 or 3 or many of the development classes over the years. What were some of the highlights that stand out to you?
I think the biggest thing that I think impacted me the most from a development standpoint was when we were district managers and you and Mark and I were tasked with putting together a development program for the branch managers. And so we all led a specific part of that. And I think I was doing performance management. And so I became a teacher instead of just, participating on development calls. And I learned so much more about myself and performance management. And I learned quickly that when I'm actually the facilitator, I'm learning more than I ever do as a participant. It forces me to actually dive in and learn what I don't want to go on a call as a facilitator and not know what I'm talking about, or at least I want to have some idea. It makes a little bit of credibility goes a long way. And so the more I was able to dive in and learn, so I could teach, it helped develop me, I believe, to be better and lead me to where I am today.
That's really cool. Getting that ability to be on the other side of it and go from being participant to teacher. That's really cool.
It is. Yeah. It's one of those things that every time I do it, I still dread it. Like, I don't want to do this. That's a lot of work. But after you're done, it's, we did presentations with the branch managers over Zoom this spring and summer. And I was like not looking forward to it, but when it was all over with, it was like, that was really cool. See the results and see the development and growth of people.
It's the same way I feel about any workout. At the beginning, I'm like, why am I doing this? And at the end, I'm like, well, I'm glad I did that. So it's very similar. So tell me about a moment that at Sprague that you're proud of in your career, something that happened or something that was that stood out to you over the years that was just kind of a cool moment.
Man, there's a number of them, and I 2008, as a branch manager, the Kennewick office won the QA Branch of the Year award. That was really cool. But I think since then, it's been even more rewarding to see, the offices in my region, Spokane, Boise, and Kennewick have all earned the Branch of the Year honor. And it's not just over QA anymore. There's a lot more that goes into it. And so to be able to see those teams strive to get better every year, once they got a taste of what it's like to win the Branch of the Year, they won it every single year. And so I'm really proud of those teams we haven't had a repeat. Now, Spokane did repeat. They were the first repeat. But they all want to repeat. And they have so many offices now chasing them that want that too. So I love the competition. I love that battle. It just makes me so proud to see my guys that never quit fighting for that. They want that every day.
Fairly decorated region, branches of the years, techs of the years, salespeople of the years. I mean, fairly decorated, I would say.
I was blessed. I inherited the right people and was able to build, the right team around that as well. So it's nice to have the right people in place. It makes my job so much easier. When they want it as bad as I do, I just get out of their way and let them go get it.
Now, I believe you're in your home office today, right?
I am.
And what is so special about your hometown? Maybe tell everybody where you live and how there's some Sprague connections to that hometown.
Yeah, so I live in a town of about 2,600 people called Zillah in Eastern Washington. And for those that don't know, that's where all great leaders at Sprague come from.
So who else at Sprague lives in Zillah who's in leadership?
Well, I'll actually go back to somebody who no longer lives in Zillah, but my predecessor, Jim Lovelace, had ties to Zillah, graduated from Zillah High School, spent a couple of years here in his youth. Just by happenstance, I didn't know him. He's a few years older than I am, but so he was the first. I became the branch manager in 2005. Replaced myself with Chris Van Antwerp as branch manager in 2015, who lives here in Zillah, and just recently promoted Brent Schaefer from a route manager to an operations manager, and he also lives in Zillah. So we're continuing the leadership tree. It just keeps growing and branching here in Zillah. That's our goal.
I think we're gonna have to do a career fair at Zillah High School or something. Just just to keep this going in perpetuity. It's really cool how much Zilla has had an impact on Sprague over the years, with so many great people coming from such a small town.
Amazing.
And I see a sign up there that's new. It looks like Maddie's giving a shout out on this call as well.
Yeah, I don't know how new that sign is, but that had something to do with volleyball, I believe, last year or junior year.
Yeah. Very cool. And I think, are you from the greater Zilla area?
Yeah, I'm born and raised. Attended 11 of 12 years of school here in Zilla. I did have a brief absence. I left in 4th grade. Went to another small town for a year and then came back.
And you weren't suspended or anything for 4th grade then? It was just moved. Yeah.
At least I'm not that I admit on this call. I hope not.
Oh, that's very cool. What advice would you give somebody who's just starting their journey with Sprague?
When you come to Sprague, you got to be ready and willing to give more of yourself. And I think, there's people that come here that are just looking for a paycheck. And if you're just looking for a paycheck, this is not going to be a long-term road for you. I think, Sprague taught me early on that there are opportunities for those that want to go get them. And if you're just coming in to collect a paycheck and not, showing your drive, a drive to want to succeed and get better and develop yourself, it's not going to be a long-term opportunity for you. I think, Sprague has demanded is maybe not a word I like to use, but I feel like the pressure to do better at Sprague, which is helped drive me to what I am today. Previous jobs I've had, there wasn't that. There was no expectation of high quality standards and getting the work done and building relationships with people. When I came to Sprague, and that helped really push me to want to do more than I started as. And so for those that are just coming into Sprague, the opportunities are there if you're willing to go get them. But it's not going to be just that, put in my 8 hours a day and go home at the end of the day mentality. It's so you can put in more of yourself, but the rewards are worth it.
You've had several great mentors, I believe, over the years, and people who have helped you in your career. Who would you give a shout out to on this that either works at Sprague or no longer works at Sprague, who's really helped you in your career?
I'll probably start with Tim Gallagher. So Tim is the one who hired me as a branch manager in 2005. And I don't believe that his decision was overly popular across the board. So, and so I believe Tim took a chance on me. And so for that, I will forever be grateful to Tim. I don't know that I'd be in the role I am today if Tim hadn't given me the opportunity back in 2005. And as anybody that's ever worked with Tim knows that although at times he could, be the king of rose-colored glasses, everything was always, everything's great, no problems. But Tim was one of the hardest working people I've ever been around. And if there was a problem at a client, Tim was the first one there with his boots on, crawling under things with a flashlight. Looking for problems, solving problems. Tim taught me a great work ethic as a leader. It's not just sit behind your desk and get your team out there and get things done. You got to be on the front lines with them. And Tim was always there and taught me a ton.
That's awesome. I miss Tim. I expected to see him so many times this year since he retired, but COVID has shut it all down, and I'm hoping we get to reconnect in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jared, thanks for joining me on the call today. Thanks for telling everybody about your journey at Sprague, and hopefully people who haven't yet met you get to meet you soon.
All right. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day today.
All right. You too. Bye.